The first move is rarely a lie. It's a favor, small, harmless, and never asked for twice. A returned wallet, a generous tip, a piece of advice that turns out to be right. Nothing about it asks for anything back, which is exactly what makes it so disarming. This is called the reciprocity trap, the deep, almost automatic human instinct to repay kindness with kindness, even when the kindness was manufactured. Once the debt is planted, the con artist doesn't collect right away. They wait. They let trust grow on its own, the way it would with anyone else, until the relationship itself becomes the weapon. The next tool is mirroring. People trust what feels familiar, so a skilled con artist becomes a reflection, matching your tone, your pace, your opinions, even your posture. Say you're cautious with money, and suddenly they're cautious too. Say you value loyalty, and they've apparently valued nothing more their whole life. It isn't flattery, it's calibration, finding the exact frequency you already trust and broadcasting on it. Then comes social proof. Humans decide what's safe partly by watching what other people do. A con artist knows this, so they rarely work alone in appearance, even when they are. A fake testimonial, a friend who already invested, a room that feels busier, more excited, more validated than it actually is. The target isn't just being persuaded by the con artist. They're being persuaded by an audience that was never real to begin with. Underneath all of it runs authority. Borrowed, not earned. A title, a credential, a confident vocabulary full of words the target doesn't fully understand. People rarely question someone who sounds like they belong in the room. The con artist doesn't need real authority. They only need the target to stop asking whether it's real. Once trust is established, the ask begins, but never all at once. This is the foot in the door technique. A small request first, one nobody would refuse. A tiny investment, a minor favor returned. Something so small that saying yes feels like nothing. But every yes recalibrates what feels normal, and the next ask is only slightly bigger. By the time the real request arrives, it doesn't feel like a leap. It feels like the next logical step in a relationship that's already proven itself. Urgency arrives next, and it arrives on purpose. A deal that expires tonight, an opportunity that won't come again, a crisis that needs an answer immediately. Urgency is the enemy of scrutiny. It doesn't give the analytical part of the brain time to catch up with the emotional part that already said yes. Con artists don't fear a target's intelligence. They fear a target's patience. And if doubt does creep in, there's a mechanism waiting for it. Sunk cost. Once someone has already given time, money, or trust, walking away means admitting all of it was wasted. And most people would rather lose more than admit that. So the con artist doesn't need to keep convincing. The target starts convincing themselves, defending the very story that's costing them, because the alternative is facing how much they already gave to someone who was never real. Some cons are short, a single transaction gone by morning. Others are long, built over months or years, patient enough to feel less like a scheme and more like a life. The long con isn't more dramatic. It's more disciplined. It treats trust the way a farmer treats soil, worth investing in, because the harvest is bigger later. Eventually, every con reaches its exit. A well-run one ends quietly. The con artist disappears before suspicion has time to organize, sometimes leaving the target unsure a con even happened at all, only that something felt off in hindsight. The best manipulation isn't the kind that gets caught. It's the kind that never gets named. None of these techniques require a criminal mastermind or a movie-style scheme. They require only patience, observation, and a willingness to treat trust as a tool instead of a relationship. Reciprocity, mirroring, social proof, borrowed authority, foot-in-the-door escalation, manufactured urgency, sunk cost, every one of them shows up in far smaller, far more ordinary places. A salesperson who becomes your friend a little too quickly, an investment opportunity that suddenly can't wait, a stranger online who agrees with everything you believe. Con artists didn't invent trust. They simply learned to read exactly how it forms and how to plant the first brick before anyone realized a structure was being built at all. The best protection isn't suspicion of everyone you meet. It's noticing the pattern. kindness that arrives before it's earned, urgency that arrives before you can think, and trust that grows a little faster than the relationship actually justifies. Awareness doesn't make you immune to connection. It just means the next time someone's warmth feels a little too convenient, you'll recognize it not as chemistry, but as a technique. If this episode helped you see these patterns more clearly, let us know in the comments and subscribe for more deep dives into the dark psychology hiding in plain sight.